What is up, guys? The Crimson Defender from the MDCS crew back here with another video. And today, guys, I'm going to be explaining MDCS Ranked because we introduced a new rank system. So I'm going to explain it as quickly as I possibly can here. So let's get into this. So with how Ranked works, each placement in the MDCS I put it into a spreadsheet where your placement will be assigned to a tier based on the competition size and your placement, which you can see on the right. Each tier is assigned a number from 1 to 8, bronze being 1 and champion being 8. This is what's called your series rank. These series ranks get added up and averaged out to create your overall rank. So for example, if you got a series rank of silver in Winter Crown and a series rank of amethyst in Graveyard Grove, your overall rank would be gold. They are different. Now, unranked players. These are players who have signed up for an MDCS, but due to circumstances in or out of their control, they did not show up. Therefore, they were eliminated before they could get any points. And these people are Bolivar, P. Baltimore 4, Leo Yeager 19, and Zero Brine 6. Let's hope they can get into a competition sometime soon so they can get to at least bronze, which is the first rank. So bronze players, when adding up every series rank that they have an average between 1 and 1.99. Bronze 3 being between 1 and 1.4. Bronze 2 being between 1.4 and 1.7. And bronze 1 being between 1.7 and 1.99. And all these remain the same for the rest of the ranks. So we only have 2 people, which is Muffin, who was 8th in Graveyard Grove, which means he has an average of 1. And Future Veil, who was 11th in Winter Crown 2 and 22nd in Summer Sendoff, leaving him with an average of 1.5 in Bronze 2. Next up is the Silver rank, which has an average between 2 and 2.99, which starts with Venus Shells, who was 18th in Summer Sendoff, Yellow-Eyed Skinny Boy, who was 7th in Winter Crown, Awesome Gamer, who was 15th in Summer Sendoff, Santa Helper Dom, who was 13th in Winter Crown 2, and Bulldog Frankie, who was 16th in Summer Sendoff, leaving them all with an average of 2. Then in Silver 2, we have Papa Smurf 8538, who was 9th in Winter Crown 2 and 20th in Summer Sendoff, and Lieutenant Lattice, who was 12th in Winter Crown 2 and 14th in Summer Sendoff, leaving them both with an average of 2.5. Next up, we have our gold players, which nobody's in gold 2 or gold 1 right now, but gold players have an average between 3 and 3.99. Everybody in gold so far has an average of 3, which is Darth Corno, who was 6th in Winter Crown, Super Duper 2027, who was 8th in Winter Crown 2 and 19th in Summer Sendoff, Rocket Zombie, who was 5th in Graveyard Grove, 10th in Winter Crown 2 and 17th in Summer Sendoff, the Nugget Man, who was 11th in Summer Sendoff, and Crimson Defender, who was 2nd in Camp Crimson, 8th in Winter Crown, 6th in Graveyard Grove, 5th in Winter Crown 2, and 15th in Summer Sendoff, all leaving them with an average of 3. Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. As you can see in the bottom right corner, well, first, Amethyst players have an average between 4 and 4.99, but in the bottom, it says that these asterisks, I don't know how to pronounce that, but those indicate a champion. This would be their rank if there were no champion tiers, and we'll get to the champion tiers in a minute. But first, in Amethyst 3, we have Skyset, who was 4th in Winter Crown, 4th in Graveyard Grove, 14th in Winter Crown 2, and 10th in Summer Sendoff. H4Z4RD705, who was 5th in Winter Crown, Spider Dude 48009, who was 6th in Winter Crown 2 and 9th in Summer Sendoff, Nick 08962, who was 8th in Summer Sendoff, and Panda Divine 514, who was 6th in Summer Sendoff, all leaving them with an average of 4. And then we have Broadest Relic 98, who was 4th in Winter Crown 2 and 7th in Summer Sendoff, leaving him with an average of 4.5. And our first champion to show up, Supposed Hail, who, once you add it up, has an average of 4.4. Next, we are in our Diamond tier, which only has 2 players, with an average between 5 and 5.99. We're getting into the stronger players now. We have Stardix, who was 7th in Winter Crown 2 and 3rd in Summer Sendoff with an average of 5. And we have Plushy K42, who was, of course, the winner of Winter Crown with an average of 5.5 when you equate Summer Sendoff into there. So from this point on out, pretty much everyone in these tiers has made a finale at this point, from Diamond up. Yeah, so as you'll see, there's not a lot of players in this tier, obviously, because the finales are like 4 people each. So yeah, let's get into it now. Now we're on to Emerald. These players all have an average between 6 and 6.99, which is, there are 3 players in this tier. Savage Slayer 478, who was 3rd in Winter Crown. Player ID, who was 3rd also, but just in Graveyard Grove. And then Rican Roller, of course, who won Winter Crown 2, but equating everything else in, he has an average of 6.5, which brings him to Emerald 2. And now our highest non-champion tier, Ruby, which all these players have an average of 7 or higher. Which means if your average is over 7, that means you're Ruby tier. And we have our 2 remaining champions in this, with Flames of V57 with an average of 7.25 and Lion 3000 DPI with an average of 8. And we also have runner-up of Graveyard Grove SB179, who has an average of 7. And finally, our 3 champion tiers, which I'm going to explain it a little bit. These champion tiers cannot be taken away once they are won. So no matter what your rank is, you're still going to be considered a champion, crown champion, or grand champion once you make it. So these are your 5 champions: Plushy K42, the winner of Winter Crown; Rican Roller, the winner of Winter Crown 2; and Lion 3000 DPI, the winner of Summer Sendoff, have all made the champion tier, which means you've had to win at least 1 MDCS. Then next we have Crown Champion, which is our remaining 2, with Suppose Hail and Flames of V57. All Crown Champions have won at least 1 MDCS and placed Emerald or higher in another MDCS, which means their series rank for another MDCS is Emerald or higher, which Suppose Hail has done, with being the winner of Camp Crimson and placing Emerald in Winter Crown 2, and Flames of V57 has done, with being the winner of Graveyard Grove, and Ruby in Winter Crown 2, and Summer Sendoff obviously being the runner-up in all of those competitions. And Grand Champion, nothing yet, but there might be soon. Now, one of the rules I'm making for Crimson Cruise is that champions are not allowed in this competition, to make sure that we can diversify the champion ranks and give more people a chance to win. And I know most of the champions are bummed out about this, and I told y'all I have something for you guys and other high-ranking players in the game. Because there's nobody that's won Grand Champion yet, you will have the opportunity to align the stars and show out in MDCS All-Stars, coming August 2026.